Once upon a time, in a peaceful forest, there was a little chipmunk named Max. Max wasn't like the other chipmunks. While everyone else was busy gathering acorns and building cozy homes, Max spent his days thinking he knew everything there was to know about the forest. "Oh, I don't need help from anyone," Max would say with a proud puff of his chest. "I've got this covered." He'd scurry about, sure that no one knew more about the forest than he did. One day, as Max was sitting in his favorite spot near the edge of the forest, he noticed a group of animals gathered around a big tree. A wise old owl, named Olivia, who had seen many seasons come and go, was perched on the tree's branch. She was telling the other animals about the upcoming winter. Max, of course, thought he already knew all about winter. "Winter, please? I know all about winter," Max scoffed. "I'm a chipmunk. I've lived here my whole life. I already know what to do." Olivia, with her gentle eyes, smiled and said, "Oh, Max, every winter is different, and there's always something new to learn. Perhaps you should listen to what others have to say. Even the wisest of us can learn from others." But Max didn't want to hear that. He was sure he already knew everything. "I don't need to listen," Max muttered, turning away from the group. "I've got this all figured out." As autumn rolled in and the forest began to change, Max started collecting acorns. But instead of carefully storing them in his burrow like he usually did, he was in a hurry. "I know how to gather acorns. I don't need anyone's advice," he thought, grabbing acorn after acorn and stuffing them in his cheeks without thinking about the future. Max worked quickly, filling his burrow with what he thought was enough food. "That should be plenty. Winter won't be that bad," he said, patting the ground proudly. He spent the rest of the day lounging under the warm sun, sure that he was ready for the cold months ahead. Meanwhile, other chipmunks were gathering food with more care. They weren't rushing. They were storing food with a plan, carefully choosing the best spots in their burrows. The squirrels were busy with their winter preparations, and even the rabbits were making sure they had enough food for when the snow came. But Max didn't pay any attention to them. Days passed, and the crisp air of winter began to settle in. One morning, Max woke up to a chilling breeze. He peeked outside, and to his surprise, snowflakes were drifting down from the sky. The world was turning white and cold. Max scampered outside to look at his acorn stash, and that's when his heart sank. His acorns, which he had stuffed haphazardly into his burrow, had begun to scatter around. Some had even gotten buried under a pile of snow. The food he thought was plenty wasn't nearly enough. Max felt a shiver run through his fur knot, just from the cold, but from worry. He had to do something. Panicked, Max ran to the other chipmunks' burrows. He found Sally, who had been collecting acorns for weeks, arranging them carefully and wrapping them in leaves to protect them from the cold. "Sally, I need help," Max said, his voice trembling. "I didn't gather enough food for the winter, and now it's too late. What do I do?" Sally looked at him kindly and said, "Max, I told you, it's important to plan ahead. Winter can be hard if we don't prepare properly. But don't worry, you're not alone. We can help you gather more food. We always share with our friends." Max felt a little embarrassed. "I thought I knew everything," he said quietly. "I thought I could do it all by myself. But now I see that I missed some things." Sally smiled. "It's okay, Max. None of us know everything. That's why we help each other. No one gets through winter alone. We all need to work together." With Sally's help, Max gathered more food. He learned how to store it properly in his burrow, and even how to protect it from the cold. The other animals in the forest pitched in, and together they made sure Max was ready for the long winter ahead. As the snow piled up outside, Max settled into his warm burrow, his belly full of acorns, berries, and nuts. He thought about how he had been so sure of himself before, but now he understood the value of listening to others and asking for help when he needed it. That night, as he curled up in his cozy nest, Max smiled to himself. "I guess I don't know everything after all," he whispered. "But I've learned something much more important. It's okay to ask for help, and it's good to listen. We can all learn from each other." As winter went on, Max spent time with his friends in the warmth of their burrows. He learned that being wise wasn't about knowing everything, it was about learning from each other, sharing, and working together. And from that day on, Max always remembered that lesson. While he still loved to explore and think he had great ideas, he never forgot that even the smartest of chipmunks could learn something new.